Hey, what's up there, Bob?
Yo.
Are you on the microphone today with me?
Microphone.
Microphone.
Bob and Bob Show.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in today to the fifth installment of the Bob and Bob Show.
First one that we're recording.
Actually doing it on video today, so say hi to the camera, Bob.
What's up, camera Bob?
Yep, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, but before we do, we would like for everybody to know that you need to go to complaintboxes.com. That is a little social media platform that we're working on. You can see the Bob and Bob Show there. You can view our videos that we're starting. In fact, this is the first one we've ever done. So
yeah,
there's a chat box in there. You can talk smack to other people, other patriots in there.
you can post memes, videos, commentary. There's a blog section. You can share, like, comment on other people's posts, friends, follow people, all that stuff.
It's similar to Facebook. I mean, we got some bugs to work out, but it is what it is. A lot of stuff going on in the country, from Roseanne Barr to the Bilderberg meeting coming up to black unemployment rates all-time low.
You'll never see anything about that, though.
No, they don't want you to know about that. They want to keep pushing the whole...
It's the wrong kind of sensation, man.
Right. They want to push the whole racism agenda.
Yeah, well, they want to push petty racism like a tweet that's meant to be a joke from a comedian, a professional comedian. I mean, it's okay for Chris Rock to talk about how he wants to see white kids killed en masse, and it's hilarious, and everybody laughs, and there's no controversy at all. But Roseanne Barr makes a tweet about a lady comparing her to a monkey, and all of a sudden she's the devil incarnate. It's so silly, and I just think it's hilarious how people just jump on the pleb wagon.
Yeah, she said Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. That was what Valerie Jarrett, I think her name was. She was an African-American woman. She was a senior advisor to Barack Obama. I don't know. Everybody wants to take offense to everything. A bunch of freaking crybabies, man. I swear to God.
Pathetic. It's pathetic when, when the masses are offended by a joke and it's totally meaningless. It only has the power that you give it. And that serves the establishment. The establishment wants us to be idiots. I mean, we're easy to control if we're that stupid, Well,
you can see the change and everything where, like you said before, a black man or a black woman can sit there and rag on white people all day long, and it's all funny, he. But then when a white person does it, man, everything crumbles. Everybody goes crazy.
Well, it doesn't get sensationalized the same way, and that serves a purpose. It's just to keep people stupid. I mean, the reality is that it's pretty meaningless. It really is.
I know. Well, actually, the whole agenda of that is to get people pissed off and yelling at
that's
each
what
other.
I mean.
Yeah.
It's easy to control people when they're emotional like that, and keep them focused on arbitrary crap that means nothing. Well, there is real racism going on that we're not even really gonna see a whole lot of and talk about on a real level.
It's such on a minor level. People think that like the Confederate flag.
Well, it doesn't get sensationalized the same way.
Right. But, they talk about the Confederate flag as being racist, and like they're making all these icons and all these things are racist. We got to get rid of them. Racism.
There is a legitimate argument that the Confederate flag is about basically being a rebel, and that's all it's about. The whole thing, it wasn't all about slavery. The Civil War wasn't all about slavery. It was a huge part of it, a major part of it, but that's not what it was all about. I mean, I don't need to get into that in great detail here because you can study that for a month and still not cover everything, but people are just miseducated and uneducated about it because the sensationalism is where it goes.
Well, racism sucks. I mean, there's no reason for it. I mean, it's 2018
well, apparently
right now.
There is a reason for it.
Well, they're using it. I mean, you have some dumb, ignorant people that want to sit there and act like they hate a different race for whatever reason, but you can go to every race and there's scumbags on all sides of the coin.
Humans are basically just garbage is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's good people on both sides. There's bad people on both sides.
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean you have to put it all in one pot and call it racism.
Well, it's if you really look at it, even back to the roots of it, people of their own races are just as bad to each other. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, well, somehow we got to put a stop to it.
Thing.
We got to put a stop to it.
Just don't play into it.
Well, everybody plays into it, just like they play into LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, that serves as spread and circuses.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that was on our last show, and obviously that's always something we're going to have to keep circling back around to because they love to keep you distracted.
Of course.
So let's keep you distracted with racism. Let's keep you distracted with sports. Let's keep you distracted with the new movie that's out this month, you know?
Yeah.
Same old stuff over and over again. And meanwhile, we have the Bilderberg group that's going to be meeting. I'm not sure how many people out there are familiar with the Bilderberg group meeting, but it's
I think the majority's probably never heard of Bilderberg.
well, it's a secret meeting. Well, maybe not secret anymore. It used to be secret. And
It's still pretty secret.
well, this is where all top politicians from the North America and the European Union and stuff like that. They're heads of businesses and they're financiers. They're all a bunch of elites.
It is the 0.00001% that everybody mistakes for the 1%. You know,
Well,
it's
they're-
not 1%. It's the 0.00001%, and that's who they are. They can literally crash an economy with the flip of a wrist. You know, and that's like.
Well, they're meeting
The
in
kind of power they
Italy.
have.
They're meeting in Italy this year. I think it's coming up here in like a week or a couple days even. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they meet on different places all over the world, and nobody can get it on video. What they talk about, nobody knows.
It's Jekyll Island, man.
And protesters, they'll be outside of wherever it is, trying to get in, trying to get a glimpse, and they can never figure anything out. Sometimes some of the servers and busboys for their dinners and stuff might leak some information, but I think they vetted a lot of that stuff now, and they're like, we're going to kill your family if you say anything.
Like any mafia group, man.
Right. But people,
Do it at your peril, you know?
well, people don't even understand that these people, these elites from all different sectors, they are making policy. They're deciding what wars they're going to continue with.
They're deciding who's going to make the policy and what the policy is going to be.
Well, it gets so deep as, well, what kind of MK Ultra mind brain washing techniques are we going to use on the people now? How they'll say, well, it looks like the people are starting to get fired up. We need to feed them bread and circuses more.
Or feed them weird stuff like, the gender thing is awfully convenient. Get this SJW thing on full blast so that people focus on crap like that while we just continue to have our way with them, with the masses.
I wonder if any presidents, former presidents, ever go to these Bilderberg meetings.
Absolutely. I
don't
would
know.
bet they do, man.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything like that. I know
Maybe not all of
there's
them.
been some stuff on video showing a few people going in there, different heads of different governments. I don't know if I've ever seen a president.
I would bet that Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton both go to those meetings.
Oh, I bet they do.
They are a power dynasty,
with
man.
big
That's
grins,
what it's about.
with big grins on their faces.
Yeah.
And the idea here is nobody cares about them making policy that is like literally
It's draconian policy.
It's policy that is killing people, brainwashing people, letting certain companies become prosperous and other ones not.
Letting certain nations flourish and others fail for various reasons.
Like, these are the people that control our lives. These are the people that we need to be protesting against. Not police brutality, even though that is a real thing. That's just on a minor level. You got to cut the head off the snake if you want to get this stuff to change and turn around. And the Bilderberg meetings and the people involved with it, they are the heads of the snake.
yeah.
And somebody start paying attention to real stuff. Google it. Bilderberg Group meetings. Google it.
They're the ones that control economies and stuff.
They're the new world order, dude. Plain simple.
Well, yeah, that is the
and
new
they're
world
hell
order.
bent on world domination.
They have world domination. They want to keep it.
Well, they don't have full control right now. They don't. You have people in America that, pay attention to a lot of stuff, and they discuss things with each other. And we have meetings.
Well,
There's talk show hosts.
They can't have full control over every individual unless the entire globe is going to be like what Pyongyang is in North Korea. I mean, that is full control.
Ping pong gang.
Ping pong yang.
Gang gang ping pong gang.
You're racist.
No, you're racist. You can't do that. America, land of the free, but you can't say anything you want
It's
anymore.
2018. The thought police are coming after you.
Oh,
What if all this is just a big beta test? And I don't mean that SJWs are part of some master scheme
What's the SJW? For
like a
listeners?
social justice warrior,
Okay.
just somebody that wins arguments online by, virtue signaling and stuff. It's just, and here's the thing, they're they're not even willing participants. It's this is really hard to explain. Subversive tactics can be used by baiting people that have a certain personality type, and they will do the work for you because their personality drives them in a certain way to act a certain way, and they can be directed towards an objective like social justice, quote unquote, and in that very objective, because it feeds their ego and their narcissistic need to basically like dominate an ideal. They are literally what makes the perfect useful idiot, because it's not even what's going to happen at the end of their cause isn't even what they were necessarily after, because they're too focused on being right and being righteous and fighting for the underdog or whatever it may be, to even notice that they're completely destroying society in the process. They are taking away freedom in the name of freedom, and it's crazy. It's obvious to anybody that can actually pay attention, but this has happened before. It's not a new thing. And, I'm not even making this up. This is all documented tactic. The CIA does it. The KGB did it. Every Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi Minister of Public Enlightenment, same thing. I mean, this is all
Public enlightenment. I love
yeah,
that.
that's what they call it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about subversion. It's when you flip-flop definitions and flip-flop ideals, and you can use people against themselves very easily.
Well, they don't want an aware, awake population.
No, not at all.
That's detrimental to the New World Order. The big scary boogeyman New World Order.
Well, it's like, I mean, they don't. As soon as the sheep start saying, hey, Bill, I swear that dog and that farmer are working together. No, they're not. You're crazy. That's crazy. That's a conspiracy theory.
Right.
You
are a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy nut.
The dog and the farmer sure as poop skadooblies are working together, and that fence isn't a natural formation either, like they told you it was.
I mean, is this how it's always going to be? People are just going to be subverted and retarded all the time, and they're just never going to snap out of it.
It ebbs and flows, man. It's waves in the ocean. Like
well,
everything.
if you start a war over here, everybody's going to wake up pretty stinking quick.
Well, they don't want a war here. The establishment, meaning, the string pullers, the wizards behind the curtain, they don't want to. The United States is very valuable in many ways, resource-wise and population-wise and all that. They don't want a topsy-turvy. They don't want to destroy this nation in a full-on military war for lots of reasons. One, they don't want that many people to die that quickly. That's a mess.
Well, that wakes up everybody too. So.
Well, that too. And they don't want to destroy our infrastructure, even though, I mean, it's another topic. Our infrastructure needs work, but it still is, incredibly valuable. And they don't want to spend decades and trillions of dollars rebuilding it after spending decades and trillions of dollars destroying it.
I don't know, dude. I think
it's kind of counterproductive, man.
On the conspiracy.
It's like wiping your butt with your hand. What's the point?
On the conspiracy side of it, I mean, they probably got a freaking up on the space station. I think you can see the International Space Station tonight. I don't know. That's going to be too cloudy or something. Or on the dark side of the moon. What makes you think that these people don't have some kind of different, like cities in other areas off the planet?
It's not for them. It's for the population that they need to use. A farmer needs stock, or he's got no farm, man.
Yeah, but how many people do they really need? Do they need billions, or do they need maybe a million?
Well, more than a million.
A million slaves.
More than a million, for sure, man.
Oh, that's racism. Sorry, I said slaves. That's racism.
Globally,
Come
slave is a race, right?
Slave is a race.
Globally, dude, a third of the people that we even have probably would be fine. I don't know. I mean, it's not like I have any studies or numbers.
Well, if you give it another 50,
give
it another 50 years, they could just have robots take care of them. They don't need us anymore. It's coming closer and closer to that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
maybe Agenda 21 is a lot more sinister than it's been presented to be.
I think everything's a lot more sinister.
Oh, well, I do too. That's why we're sitting here.
It's way more scarier than we even can imagine, I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll see videos on YouTube about DARPA, and they'll be showing some of their little robots and military machines. One looks like a horse or something. And
I've
it
seen
gallops
it.
through.
Yeah.
It goes upstairs and all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
I bet you they got stuff way more advanced. They only released
dude.
the little part of it.
Dude, people thought the Blackbird was a UFO for a long time, and it was our spy plane that can get over. Do you know what the Blackbird is?
No,
right?
no, I don't.
SR-71. Oh, dude,
What is it?
It's outdated now. It's old news, but back in the 50s and 60s, dude, this plane, man, it's so fast. Like fighter jets that go, I don't know, like maybe 800 to 1200 miles an hour, which is super fast, right? Mm-hmm. They would, brag about how fast they're going. Well, Blackbird goes like 3,000 miles an hour, dude.
Wow.
It can get to the Soviet Union and take pictures from the stratosphere.
Sonar, it moves so fast that the gaskets in it has to.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
We have somebody who decided to chime in here.
That's our camera guy.
It's our camera guy, and just so you know, he is an African American.
That means-
oh no, that's racist.
That
Oh no,
means
don't
he's
say
a
that.
slave.
He's our video camera slave.
No, you know what? Check this out. Dude, this plane was developed as a spy plane. It was developed to fly over the capabilities of radar in the stratosphere. So it flies really high. This is, 60-year-old technology. Flies really high. It was made out of titanium. Flies really fast. It can get to the USSR from, the United States within like 2 hours and take photographs of what's going on the ground in Russia from the stratosphere. I mean,
This was in the 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine what's happening now.
Dude, we probably have a space fleet. What'd you say?
Over technology. It's over technology. It leaks. It's a leaky son of a bitch though, because it leaks a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, imagine now we have AI, we have Google, we have Facebook, we have face recognition, we have all these different technologies that are out that we're using every day, and we think that it's like, oh, this is so cool. Alexa.
Almost all the technology we have started with military ends, which that points to the idea that what are the priorities? I mean, the guy that invented the toaster, his priority was probably, finding a way to toast bread without burning it on the stove. But I'm talking about real technology, like big time technology, and even things like cellophane. I mean, that was a military technology. Our drive, competition is the mother of innovation like that, and it's usually under some sort of a Marshall Plan, dominating plan. A plan of conquest.
Well, I know,
imperialism.
we've never got on the subject when we were in disagreement about capitalism and profiteering and stuff and how it breeds innovation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of going into the Venus Project / Zeitgeist kind of idealism where we don't need money. We don't need any of those things. Like, imagine if you had all the resources you needed and you didn't have to go to your stupid job every day and be a slave, a wage earner, and you had all the time you needed and all the resources you needed to be able to create things and invent things. And
There are a lot of people like that.
Well, they obviously they had to get their money from somewhere to start
Well, yeah.
it. Everything costs money.
Money has to always come from somewhere. There's always a benefactor. Always.
Well, right now, but we have enough resources and enough ways to be able to do these things without dealing with the Federal Reserve and all this profiteering.
Well, we
kind of
always have.
situation.
That's a control mechanism, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, this goes borderline almost socialism, but it's not.
It doesn't even have to be socialistic. It could just be less imperialistic and it'd be fine.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. No more emperors. No more
Yeah.
presidential emperors.
By the way, our cameraman over here, it's JR here. He's on complaint boxes. He's got a profile on there, and you can't see him because he's behind the camera.
Right. But if you go on complaint boxes, you can see his profile picture. He's Obama with a king hat on,
Yeah.
with a king crown on.
we might get a microphone set up for him on here. He's got stuff to say too.
Yeah, but he seems to drop the F-bomb and a lot of other stuff too much.
Hey,
so.
it took us a while to weed that out of our dialect here.
Yeah,
But,
so, back to Roseanne Barr and that whole situation. They cut off was it ABC? Was that the broadcast network they were on? I think it was ABC.
I think so, yeah.
They cut the whole show off because of it. That is crazy.
It's a knee-jerk reaction, like so many things are, man.
Well, ABC's probably like, oh, we don't want to have any backlash over this. So,
Well, you're going to get backlash if you cancel it.
so we talked about Chris Rock. Why is that okay for him to say stuff like that? And
Well, if he
nothing
had a network show, what would be happening with it right now? Nothing, probably.
What about Dave Chappelle, for crying out loud?
Yeah.
I mean, that dude would just sit there. He acted like the Grand Dragon of the Ku
I
Klux
know.
Klan.
Well, that was
a blind
also
black guy.
a different time. I mean, we're talking, that show's 15 years old. And, honestly, a lot of the people that are making a huge deal out of the Roseanne stuff and whatnot, first of all, social media wasn't the same back then. So you didn't have all the screechers screeching in everybody's face so readily. And, literally, to get any attention, you would literally have to take to the streets en masse. Now it's all on social media. So the other thing is, back then, everybody wasn't such a fragile flower because they weren't taught to be such a fragile flower back then. And things like that were something, hey, we can laugh at ourselves and it's all good. And you know what? It was all good. So what happened, man? Why is everyone such a fragile turd, man?
It's because the media consistently glorifies being a fragile turd.
That's part of subversion, maybe, huh?
Yeah, well, let's be real fragile. We need our little safe spaces. Let's go cry a frickin' river somewhere, and then that's the way you're supposed to be.
But do you see how that takes place? Do you see that ripple effect? How when you drop that idea, when you drop that value into the water, how it ripples out and then it starts to affect everything
that
around
idea
it.
where, you should be offended by this and you need to do something because you are offended.
And because of herd mentality and self-righteous feelings among certain types of personalities that tend to be more aggressive, and then they kind of guilt or goad other people into that, like borderline fence sitters, moral-wise, that don't really give a crap or it's not that important to them. They get them to come be part of that, and that's how it takes off, man.
Well, they're like, oh, feelings are important, I suppose.
And then
I get mad, I get sad. Everybody has these emotions, but they come and they go. You don't sit there and dwell on them and use them against other people and make them feel bad because they said something that was kind of offensive to you.
Well, on a scale of real importance, sure, but we're not dealing with rational logic here. We're talking about a nation being, bankrupt from that, and basically just led into idiotic ideals that are arbitrary as a form of self-destruction. It's a smallpox blanket, man.
Smallpox blanket?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's planting the seed of disease. It's subversion. It's how to control and destroy a society from within.
Yeah. Well,
It's not a new concept.
dude, I was watching, what was it the other day?
It's a soft war.
2.5 Men. Remember Charlie Sheen?
Yeah.
And all that?
Uh-huh.
Charlie Sheen was the best. I mean, yeah, he was a womanizer and all that crap.
What do you expect? Look at him. Who has he ever been?
Right.
It's not like this just happened out of nowhere.
Show was funny. I liked it. Now they got asshole Kutcher or whatever on there. And they had, who was the girl on there? Country singer's girl.
Dude, I don't even know.
I don't know. They had this obnoxious girl. She had blonde hair, butch. She's a singer, like not country, but like a pop star.
Sure.
I forget her freaking
Katy
name.
Perry.
No. Crap, I forget. She was, man, I don't even remember.
Yeah, I
And
don't like crappy
this
music
girl,
or crappy TV.
This girl was a loudmouth, emotional, butch haircut, type of woman who back and forth between gender role playing.
Give these kids something to role model, right?
Right. So just changing the whole dynamic of how
Yeah.
things are.
Well, that's subversion, man.
Through our entertainment.
Yes.
Through our sports, Kaepernick, through our political structure.
It serves as, in that case, it serves as more than just a distraction. It's also a leading agent.
Yeah, it makes people form their opinions
It's like nationalism.
based on being a crybaby D-bag.
Sure. Yeah. It makes them easy to control and weak. The more subjective somebody's value system is, the easier they are to control. You can trigger their emotions and you can steer them any way you want, man. It's like freaking handlebars. You can take them wherever you want them to go. Just control their emotions, dude.
And they wonder why
Through appeal.
They wonder why schools are getting shot up. They wonder why People are protesting in the streets. The millennials doing, crying about guns and crying about.
Well, they're crying about things in the wrong way because they're doing it through subjectivity instead of real solutions that have a real potential for solving a problem. But that's not what they're not trying to solve a problem because the problem has to be there, or the whole cause won't even be there, and the cause is there to control the masses. It's like the war on terror and the war on drugs. It's not about terrorism, and it's not about drugs.
Nope.
It's about instituting martial law as a systemic reality completely accepted by the entire population. And after it goes on for generations like it has, seeing police that are basically assault commandos is normal, so it's no big deal.
Right.
It is a big deal.
It is a big deal. They're walking around
and call it a free country when it's anything but.
Troops on the border, and there's still Mexicans coming across.
There always will be, man.
We gotta build a wall. No, you ain't gotta build a wall. We talked about this before. Take out the drug cartels first. Why are you gonna
just end the war, end the drug war, and it'll all go away on its own, organically, by itself. Man.
Well, marijuana's taking a foothold now, and but they gotta have their hands in that. It has to be medical. It has to be medicinal. It has to be made by certain companies.
Big money's gonna get in that, of course, man. Of course.
They
don't want to lose their power. They don't want to lose their. Because it's not even it's through money where the power comes from, and the people that sit on those thrones, you have to understand, they're not like us.
No, they're not. That's
why it's hard to understand where this all comes from.
Right, but they're always trying to keep their power. Keeping their power keeps their profit. Keeping their power keeps them in power.
Well, yeah,
plain and simple.
Absolutely.
And then they can make decisions that we have no say-so in at all.
No.
And that doesn't bother anybody. As long as LeBron James is freaking making 3 points left and right.
And as long as people are crying about which bathroom they can or can't use, and as long as LeBron James is, sports balling.
Yeah, so that's what they want. And as long as you're paying attention to that, they can do whatever the freaking heck they want.
Yeah.
And that doesn't matter, right? That doesn't matter. Let these people that we put into power, apparently through voting, which I don't know about all that, but apparently we put people in the power to make policies and laws that benefit us, which they don't.
Well, that's the other thing. We get led into thinking something's going to benefit us when it doesn't.
And then people are lazy. They don't even care.
Right.
My dad.
As long as I have my toaster and my steel-belted radials, we're good.
Right. Well, my father will sit there and watch CNN all day and all that, and come arguing with me like they're doing this and they're doing that and they're doing this. I'm like, you have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
This is your dog and pony show.
And he should know that.
Yeah, he does know, but all this kind of information is floating through his brain, and obviously he's from the old school, so they don't see how subversive things really are now. Like, they are so out of control, and he's going to sit there and complain about stuff that you don't even know if it's even happening.
Sure.
This CNN's just telling you.
Yeah.
You don't know if that's the truth or not.
Or if, like you said, it's just a distractive device. Don't play into it.
Yeah, definitely don't play into it.
Like Roseanne's tweet. Who cares?
Right.
Really, who cares? Really? Why do you care so much? It means nothing. I guarantee you she's no more or less racist than your typical American walking around.
Yeah, she's not racist at all. I guarantee. Come on.
And it's the people that are so self-righteous as to basically just Nazi everybody else's words and opinions and sentiments. This is the groundwork for thought policing, total draconian Orwellian tyranny and fascism on a level that Hitler would be proud of.
Obama isn't even president anymore, and you still can't say anything about him. Some of the laws that dude passed and some of the things that he did.
People aren't paying attention to what he did when he wasn't standing in front of a podium.
Right. They're like, oh, he's black, so he's doing the right thing,
He was doing the same thing he was told to do, like all the others before and after.
Yeah, if you don't do what you're told, then you will be a Kennedy.
He was a really good speaker, and that's good. He was a really good speaker. Bush was a crappy speaker.
Well, we're coming up on our break.
They had the same goals.
Finally, complaintboxes.com, The Bob and Bob Show. Check us out. We'll be right back after this break.
I want to live in a world where an equal amount of white kids are shot every month. An equal world. I want want to see white mothers on TV crying.
Welcome back. Bob and Bob Show. Second half for today.
And I didn't have any problem with what Chris Rock just said.
I don't care at all.
I don't care at all. But that was very racist. I think that was out of context a little bit, though. I don't remember what he
Well,
was saying.
you know
before
what?
that.
If that was out of context, then so was Roseanne's tweet.
Well-
Seriously, I mean, it's just comedy, man.
It's comedy. Have fun with it. Stop being snowflakes. Oh, no, he said snowflake. That's offensive.
I mean, it really wasn't that long ago that people weren't just triggered by anything and everything they could possibly tease out of anything and everything to be triggered about. What kind of life is that, man?
You see these people on Facebook just crying about everything, getting mad about everything.
Having a genuine visceral reaction, which that's wow. Imagine what life would be like if there were actual problems.
Oh, no, actual problems? You got to be kidding me.
I mean, there are, but they choose to make that one of them. And
Yeah.
It's not.
Bunch of butt hurts.
It is. It's just butthurt. It's baby time.
I know.
It's little baby stuff.
Widow babies.
Put on your romper and go get your pacifier and, see who can get the most attention from mommy from crying about something.
Just live in my parents' basement until I'm 90.
It's crazy, man.
I
We
don't-
live in a world where 30-year-olds are suing their parents because they want them to move out of their basement,
Oh, God. Oh, what about everyone thinking that it's okay to pretty much just cry anywhere and be over?
You're talking about like safe space kind of
safe
stuff?
space, overly emotional. Like,
You know what?
I grew up and I picked on a little bit. We're men.
Dude, we've all been picked on.
Dude, I'm saying this, like you and me do. We go back and forth. Me and JR, our cameraman over there, we're always going back and forth.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt my feelings.
No.
I'm not going to get on Facebook and rant about how a black man just called me a honky. You know what I mean?
Well, then
I don't care.
Well, then someone's going to be like, "Oh, you have no idea because you've never seen real oppression." But that's not even the point. If you don't give it power, it doesn't have any. Because
Well-
that's not real oppression. It's not.
No, definitely not at all. But
That's not real racism. There is real racism, of course. That's not it, though.
no, definitely not.
There are real issues that could be addressed. But as long as those real issues are being cloaked in issues that aren't real, that are similar, then the real issues are going to go unfixed, which is part of the agenda, because once a problem is fixed, the fixer no longer has a place. And if the fixer no longer has a place, the fixer no longer has any power. And you have to look at it like that to see where real manipulation comes from.
Well, people inherently just hate Donald Trump. They hate him for no reason at all.
Sure.
Like, you could question them, like, why do you not like Donald Trump? And they can't tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I happen.
He's got blonde hair. He's white.
He's a white rich guy. I've looked into a lot of things about Donald Trump personally, and I mean, my personal opinion on him, even though it has no consequence at all to anything in the entire world, is that I don't think he's a good person at all. But you don't have to be a good person to be a good leader necessarily, and you can be a good person and be a horrible leader. I'm not even saying he's a good leader. I'm saying none of it's mutually exclusive. But what do I think of Donald Trump? Really, knowing what I know about his life and his dealings, I think he's a pampered rich kid that is also a total narcissist, and he's a con man.
Yeah.
He's a classic textbook con man. Does that mean that he can be a good president? Maybe, man. Those are good qualities to have, actually.
Well, to be a president,
to
that's
be
crazy.
a con man, but it's also bad qualities.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
which way are you steering that con? Are you steering?
That's
it
what I
towards
mean.
Yeah.
It's like a firearm, dude. It's just a tool you can use.
Oh no, he said firearm.
Yeah. So, but what it really comes down to is how much of it matters and where is it coming from? Do you just hate him because everyone else does and you got to be a part of the herd? Probably, because that's what people do.
Yeah, it's a Republican. Well, we gotta hate him. We have
It's
to.
just-
Yeah, and people don't understand. It doesn't matter. That's a left-right paradigm, dude.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
They're both going to lie to you and steal your money.
It's
so.
the left wing and the right wing, and they're on the same stinking bird.
And you know what? If you think Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton aren't cons, then, you know, I've got some oceanfront property in Kansas to sell you.
Right.
It's only going to cost you $1,000 for 1 million acres.
Oh, let's not even get into
Send
Bernie
a self-addressed
Sanders.
stamped envelope.
Yeah, let's not. Bernie Sanders, Mr. Give everything away and free this.
Yeah,
and
you
free
don't
that.
want any. He doesn't want anybody to know that he has 2 beach houses and only paid 13% in taxes last year, right?
Nice. Nobody wants to know that. That's not right. I'm gonna go to my safe space. I'm gonna start defending myself.
It completely goes against what he was selling everybody. But
Yeah, they don't even. Oh gosh, and the people during that period, I couldn't believe how inherently on top of him they were. Like they just wanted him to win so
Well, they're
bad.
dumb. They're dumb. They're just as dumb as the people that were rabidly pro-Trump. I mean, it's the same way. They're all liars and cons, and they're politicians. Come on, they're politicians. Should I really have to say more than that?
Right. Their job is to lie to you and tell you anything that you need to
They
hear.
work for 2 things. They work for, number 1, the establishment that gives them the power they're after, and number 2, their own lust for power. Those are the 2 things they work for.
Well,
that is it.
What about the Rand Paul and the Ron
I
Paul?
was just going to bring them up. They are the 2 exceptions to the rule that I can think of, and they're about it, man.
Yeah, but how are they able to sit here and continue to say things and be involved? And,
They're not.
Well,
They
Ron
call
Paul.
it out, and nobody listens to them.
Yeah, Ron Paul. They don't listen to him at all.
Nobody,
Dr.
that's
No.
what I mean, though. Nobody listens to either one of them, and they're dead on point. There's other politicians across the world that have called out major stuff like that too, and they go ignore it as well, man. It's crazy how an extreme minority, even though they can be completely on point, just gets swept under as if they've never spoken at all. It's like they're not even there, man.
It's crazy. That's back to the bread and circuses. That stuff has got people so brainwashed. It's out of control. It's
It's like Yuri said, though, when a society is brought so far into an agenda of subversion, a point of subversion, it gets to a point where people, we're talking generations into this, it gets to a point where people have no baseline of rational logic, and you can present facts to them, actual facts. You can present actual rational logic that makes total sense mathematically, and they will still just not believe it.
yeah.
It bounces right off their head, and they'll just deny it because it shakes their world at its very foundations, and they refuse to even look at it because it's scary. That's scary unless you're like me.
Right.
I don't.
Oh,
I can stand right in front of that and I'm fine. My ego is not that way.
I just remember when I was talking in the first half about the 2.5 Men. It was Miley Cyrus that was on there.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my
Jeez.
God, that girl, woman, whatever she is out of control, dude.
Yeah, a lot of them are, man.
Oh my gosh,
It's crazy, dude.
they ruined that show. I'm sorry, I had to cut back. I just remembered. But back into the subversion, which nobody cares about. So might as well just keep walking around in zombie land.
Well, they don't even know they're under it.
There's got to be a switch or something that you can flick.
Well, there is, but it's different for everybody.
Well,
There is an awakening point somewhere in everybody. You just got to keep poking until you hit the button, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what's it take? What are some examples? What are some things that would wake somebody up?
It's epiphanies that happen. You don't know where they're going to be.
Well, if somebody loses their house over
That could
taxes,
be it.
that might.
It's like what they call rock bottom for addicts or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
rock
the
bottom.
point at which you reach an epiphany. Where's your rock bottom? I don't know. Where is it? Only you know.
So they obviously
You don't even know until it happens.
they're not going to crap on the economy because right now it's being stimulated and like I said before, black unemployment is at all-time lows, I guess, and now everybody's happy. They got money, they're buying stuff. So let's not look at the men behind the curtain.
Is everybody though? I don't know. I mean, I don't pay attention to black unemployment. I don't pay attention to unemployment at all.
Yeah, that could be
But-
all just a lie anyway.
Sure.
You don't know.
But the reality I'll say is in my, I'm 39, so my 20 to 25 years of being in a workforce is that, and much of it spent doing my own hustle, is that unemployment rates, unless they're unusually high because of a systemic collapse, unemployment rates don't matter to the individual in a greater sense because you do what you got to do. You just do what you got to do, man. I left home for 4 years so I could have a job. And I don't have any pity for somebody that's not going to, go to that level of sacrifice to make ends meet. Don't whine to me. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to have any sympathy because I know what I've had to do. You know what I mean?
Well, dude, America born on hard work, hard labor,
Nobody forces
ethics.
anybody to do anything. Right. Nobody forces anybody to do anything. There is work out there, even if you have to create it for yourself. That's all I'm saying. You know what? If that means that you're in the projects in Chicago and the work that you can create for yourself is selling some crack, you know what? That's probably a pretty lucrative market, man. Get to work. You know what I'm saying? Get that money, dude.
Yeah,
It's
well,
there.
you got to get up in the morning first.
Yeah.
You got to be punctual, on time.
Well, I've seen some documentaries about that specifically because that's what popped in my head when I said you got to get your hustle.
Yeah.
There was this dude from National Geographic that followed around. It was in the South Side of Chicago and some of the projects. An organization of drug dealers. You know, a few guys that sell drugs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, they're so highly organized and meticulous in how they do things.
Oh, yeah.
And disciplined. It's like a corporation / military operation, and they take no mess, dude.
Well, dude,
And
they gotta watch-
make a lot of money, and there's hundreds of people.
Oh yeah,
involved
imagine
in it.
some of the
It's
tactics
crazy.
they have to use to evade the police,
That's what I'm talking about.
evade getting jacked
And-
by other drug dealers.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot involved in there, man.
It's highly sophisticated, way more so than people would
Yeah,
think.
and then you have underground marketing.
Yeah.
Like you got to market underground style
Well, see,
by word of
the
mouth.
whole thing about the guy that was interviewing it, he's like, it became apparent to me pretty close because he spent like a month with these guys, you know. So it became apparent to me pretty quick that this isn't just some scattered idiotic like enterprise. These guys are highly trained professionals in an entrepreneur underground market, like. And the reality of it is they have all of the skill and knowledge to be high-powered CEOs in a clean world.
Right.
The difference is the world they live in is not clean. That
Well-
is the difference. And, drug policy drives that. So if you were to end the drug war today,
They'd be out of business.
no, they would open a legal crack shop.
legal crack.
Maybe, they would lose a lot of money because they'd have to pay tribute to the mafia overlords that we call the federal government.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, they would still be filthy rich and all that, and they wouldn't have to hide it anymore, you know?
Well, if you want to be successful, some of the first things is just get the hell up in the morning.
Sure.
And don't do things the night before that are gonna ruin your next day. And you got to keep your mind sharp.
Well, these guys, they get up early in the morning, dude. Them
Well, I mean-
crackheads coming knocking at like 5 a.m. dude.
Oh, they're coming knocking at 2 a.m., 5 a.m.
It's a 24/7.
Yeah, they're in and out. They just keep coming back. But yeah, there's a chemical bringing them
My
back.
whole point of bringing that up was just to say the hustle's there. Go get it. What is the hustle? I don't know. You figure that out, man. Ain't nobody else's problem. You figure it out.
Well, if Bernie Sanders was president, then he'd just give you money and
Would
give
he?
you free health care.
What do you? God.
I wish he would have became president. I would love to see his ideas come
Dude.
into play. How much turmoil would happen?
It would collapse quickly, like it always does.
Venezuela, I mean, that's what we'd be at.
And, it's like everybody points at Scandinavia. I hear the Norway thing all the time. Like, oh, why can't we be socialists like Norway? And they're
Or
doing
Sweden.
great. Yeah, well, here's the thing about that. I've actually looked into this. Norway has about the population of Ohio. Okay?
Right. All these countries that they refer to are like
check this
that.
out. They have the population of Ohio. Very close. I'm talking within a couple thousand. Their square mileage is about like Ohio and Pennsylvania put together. Okay, so you can't compare a nation of 330 million people with a square mileage that's like literally like 50 times that. Mm-hmm. To a multi-coastal continental nation with a tiny piece of Northern Europe that is it's a fraction. If anything, that model, if they're going to argue that, first of all, they're not socialist. They're not. It's a capitalist economy. Mm-hmm. They have some social programs that work. Okay. Now, here's my other side. My other argument to that. That is a perfect argument to support small government because the economies aren't the same in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and in Manhattan, New York. Like a federal minimum wage, $15 an hour in New York is not the same as $15 an hour in Albuquerque.
Right.
And the needs of somebody that's in the middle of a southwestern desert are not the same as somebody that's in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Smaller governments, more localized governments can meet the needs of their people more accurately, and the people can watch the government more closely.
Well, in America, what happens is the federal government is giving funding to these local governments.
Sure.
And if the local governments do not adhere to some of the laws and policies that the federal government passes, then they pull the funding away.
Yeah, and that's a problem too, because the federal government's not even supposed to be in any of that. It's not in the Constitution and by America's original design. The federal government had a very, very limited role. And it should have stayed that way, but it hasn't.
That's what the founding fathers wanted.
I know.
And
that's why we have states. State, by definition, it basically means nation. And the federal design, it's a federation of states.
Right.
So it's like the European Union under all the European, you know what I mean? Like all the other European countries. Because most of those countries in Europe, they're about the size of a typical state in the United States.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, there is no typical state. I mean, Rhode Island's like the size of Summit County, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And, Utah is the size of, 15 Ohios. But,
well, they call it the United States of America, but yet we have red states and blue states.
That's because of the partisan model.
That's a divided states of America right there. That's not united. United would be one color.
That's one sense of divided. We're divided in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah. We're divided by race. We're divided by
sentiment.
Financial
We're divided by
gains.
Facebook, just SJWRE.
SJWRE.
Yeah. It's just so silly. It's especially these young kids that are born into this idiocy. They have no frame of reference outside of it, and they can't see how pathetic it is. It's so dumb.
Yeah, their views and opinions are just based on what they're being force-fed.
Rhetoric.
Yeah.
With there's very little rational logic behind it, and sometimes there is, and that's fine. But there has to be some, because if there's none, people would just drop out of it really easily. It has to be cloaked in some sense of reality.
Oh, but the arrogance too on these younger kids.
People don't understand mutual exclusivity. Oh yeah, arrogance. They have no reason not to be arrogant.
Gosh.
They've never had to do anything or suffer anything, man.
Like that town hall meeting that we played in one of our older shows that never aired. The Dana Loesch, that bald-headed girl.
That kid's so stupid, dude.
Oh my gosh.
And the people that debate him are stupid. Even these professional debaters are stupid. You can put. I would challenge David Hogg and what's the bald girl, Amelia something.
Yeah, I forget him.
Whatever her name is.
Menendez or.
Yeah, you can put both of them in front of me right now and give them each their team of script writers that they hand them, because they don't come up with all this.
Right.
I would by myself. I could destroy all of them. I guarantee it. I'm not just saying that out of arrogance.
Well, they're not going to put that on live TV.
No, of course
they do not want the American people to be like, "Wow, we really do need guns."
Yeah, it's not even about whether we do need guns. It's none of their business, and you don't. Yeah, I'm not even going to get into all that right now. We've done whole shows on that, and we will again. But
like, if that school doesn't adhere to the vaccine policies, we're taking away your funding.
Right.
Like, and then the school says, "Oh man, well, we're going to have to kick some kids out, or we're gonna have to take them to court, or whatever, prove these parents that they are."
Well, it's like the standardized testing, the way the model is set up. People are not necessarily being educated in school because it's not set up the right way. It's set up for scores that match funding. That's the kind of pressure that teachers are under. It's like sales quotas. It has nothing to do with quality. It has everything to do with meeting numbers.
Yeah.
You're not... It's hard to explain but
different kids are
they're being taught to pass a test. They're not being taught to think and learn.
Yeah, well, some kids take a little longer to take the test than the others, but yet they got a stopwatch and they're all frustrated and they're trying to hurry up and rush through, so they just hurry up and fill in some dots real quick, and then all of a sudden...
Well, a fish and an alligator aren't going to have the same skill set either, and everybody's pushed into the same mold, man. I hated school for that reason. I couldn't stand it, man.
Man, I was a dude that would fall asleep in school, and the teacher would be like, "Hey, answer this question," and I'd be like, "What was the question again?" And then I'd answer it with some, not outlandish, but just whatever kind of thinking I had going on, and it'd be kind of close to right a lot of the time.
Yeah, dude, I was that same kid.
Yeah,
man.
I bet you anybody that was acting like that in those days are the same people like you and me today that are, quote unquote patriots.
Absolutely.
I mean, we talked about statism and all that kind of stuff,
one prerequisite.
We're patriots of humanity. Let's get that straight.
Right. Yeah, one prerequisite for critical thought is independent thought, because if you're just going along with the crowd, you're not critical or independent. You're not.
No, you're thinking the way everybody else is thinking.
The crowd is as big as it is for a reason, because most people they're just there at the bottom, dude, on that spectrum.
You look at your social media, some of the stuff just like the sports thing going on right now with the Cavs and everything. I mean, people are just constantly talking about it. It is like overpowering the local news here in Cleveland area.
Yeah.
It's just, dude, don't you have anything else to report on?
Well, there's always other things to report on.
Sunday mornings, I want to watch the weather in the morning when I get up with my coffee. I always like to watch the weather. I want to know what I'm going to be in store for.
Yeah.
But there's going to be nothing but some sports crap on.
I can't even watch it, dude.
I'm like, wow, dude. So I don't even get my local news because sports are more important on a Sunday? Like, come on, man.
It's about sensationalism and bread and circuses, and people are into sports and whatnot. But the other side of it is, they're
Why are these
going to appeal to the lowest common denominator, just like the entertainment industry does, because it's infotainment. That's what it is, man.
A lot of these games, they're starting at like 7 o'clock at night, you know what I mean? And then by the time they're over and they go into overtime or something, sometimes it'll be like midnight or something.
Yeah.
And it's on a weeknight or like, what? Like, people got to go to work in the morning, and so many people are going to be dragging ass the next day because they stayed up and watched the game until midnight.
I watch people drag ass all day, every day, man.
Yeah, well,
it's status at this point.
Well, why are you dragging ass?
There are very few ass kickers out there anymore. They're really like, I think back on it, and dude,
we're like the last generation.
Quality has declined big time. It really has.
Well, out here, my son has a buddy. They got like a small farm. They got some chickens. They got some other stuff going on. This kid, he is always working. He's always in sports. He's highly educated. He's one of the smartest kids in his class. He knows about government. He knows about corruption.
His parents taught him that.
His parents didn't really. They're not into that.
No?
No, not really.
So we got a little prodigy.
Yeah,
here.
he put 2 and 2 together on his own.
Yeah.
So, and I've talked to him, and my son's always like, "Oh, you like this kid more than any of my friends." I'm like, man, I can sit there and have an intelligent conversation.
You should just be like, yeah. Why can't you be more like Billy?
Well, no. Well, my son, he's very controversial.
Yeah, I know,
He's
man.
very argumentative. He's always trying to look at the other side, but he's in agreement with something. Like, he's a
Sure.
free thinker.
Yeah.
And so is his buddy.
Yeah.
But then he has other friends that aren't. And these kids are 13 and 14 years old. Some of the crap that comes out of their mouth amazes me.
Well, yeah.
Some of it disgusts me.
Different types of amazement. Yeah.
But you're 13 years old. What do you want,
Hey, we were all idiots at 13, but you gotta be an idiot before you can really. Idiot's not even the word. Idiot's something different by my definition. But
I didn't understand government very well at that age.
Right.
And they understand it way more than I do.
Yeah.
But then you can go to like an inner city and you talk to these kids and they know absolutely nothing. I mean,
if they
zero.
haven't been exposed to anything, they're not going to know anything, man.
Well, they've been exposed to Xbox One and PlayStation.
They
and
probably know a lot about it, too.
That's their new babysitter.
Sure. It's bread and
And
circuses, man.
They don't want to, they'll get stuck into these video games and they don't want to socialize with any of their friends anymore.
Everybody is going to occupy their mind with something. So it's all about picking and choosing what you're going to occupy it with.
Well, you're going to occupy it with playing a video game all the time?
If that's what that's been pushed in their face and nurtured, yeah.
I don't see any kind of prosperity in the next generation coming because of that. I mean,
oh, well, you're probably right about that.
People
like
staring
I said,
at
I've
their-
watched it happen.
they're sitting there staring at their phones 24/7 or a video game 24/7. They don't care about nothing. They don't even want to take
Dude,
the trash out. Their house stinks.
At work, we had this kid, man. He was like 23 years old. He scored the job. He had all the potential in the world. He had all the capability in the world. He was intelligent and capable in every way. And, for a guy, just an uneducated guy, that if you're willing to come to work and do the job, dude's 23 years old and had the potential to make $50,000 to $60,000 without any education. His first year working here. And he'd miss appointments because he'd stay up all night playing video games and, smoking weed and whatever. And he got fired, man. We fired him because he was unreliable. And he knew it was coming. He wasn't even mad about it.
Right. Doesn't
Dude.
even care.
Look what he did, man.
But you could have said, even if you didn't like the job, you hated it, you could at least stuck it out for a couple years and stacked your
Dude,
money.
we all do that.
And then you get out of it if you can. You don't.
I'm like, dude, the things I've had to do that I didn't want to do and didn't like just because I have my eye on a bigger picture. Are you kidding me, man? That's where grit comes from. That is grit. And that's what I was talking about. Like, if somebody's not willing to really lay it down. I mean, there's days I can't stand my job. I'm not even going to get into the
Yeah,
specifics.
me too, man.
Dude, why do I keep doing it? Because if I stop, I'm going to be screwed. And that doesn't mean I'm some kind of slave. It means I have a goal, and that's the track I'm on. And if I jump off of it, that goal is done. It's gone.
And you're not going to stop. You have the
I'm not
mentality
gonna-
that
and you know
nothing's going to
what?
get in the way.
I'm the one that has endured longer than everybody else. And I can see the peak of the mountain. I'm almost there, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
I'm
we're
really
sitting here
almost
today
there.
because of our grit.
Yeah, I
I mean,
know.
we're going this is after our work week, after all the crap we have to go through all week long. We sit here bright and early on a Saturday morning
Yeah.
when we could be sleeping in and rejuvenating ourselves, you
Yeah.
know. Maybe stay up late on Friday night and play our video games or whatever we're going to do.
Yeah.
But we don't. Go to bed early, we get up early, and we're at it.
Yeah.
And that's how that's how American grit, that's what it is.
Grit, well,
You don't stop.
I saw a quote. What was it? I'm going to try to say this right. I'm just going off the cuff in my head. It was something like the level of success that you will meet in life is directly proportionate to what you have done when you didn't want to do it. It was something along those lines. I mean,
Well,
does that
I
make
get what you're
sense?
saying. I get what you're saying.
It was something like that. It was like the level of success that you will achieve is in direct proportion to doing what you don't want to do when you didn't want to do it.
Right. You got to do what you don't want to do in order to be able to do what you want to do.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
You got to go through it, and
That's
the longer you keep procrastinating and jumping around and not doing these things, the longer it's going to take for you to reach your goal.
Sure.
So the more gumshoe, the more work, the more grit you put in earlier, the better off you're going to be. The sooner your goal is going to be achieved.
We've our focus of this show went from well, what did we start with? Roseanne's tweet, and now we're talking about grit. But it kind of goes into the same thing. We're talking about just the quality of human at this point and where everybody's at.
Well, the
It's-
snowflakes think they're owed
Yeah,
something.
well, yeah,
and
yeah.
They don't want to put in the grit and
Right.
hard work to be able to be a successful person. And that grit and that hard work, that kind of attitude is what makes you strong. It makes you not be a little
well,
snowflake.
it builds character, and
And-
it makes you not care about arbitrary bullcrap.
Right. You're not offended very easily because you know what? You have this goal.
Who gives a crap?
You have a goal set way up here.
Yeah.
And that's where you're going. And all this little bull crap on the side of you ain't going to affect you at all.
means nothing,
You know,
dude.
it might go through your head. You might get a little emotional over it at the time, but you just pass it on. You keep on trucking.
Because how important is it?
I don't
How
know.
much power are you going to give it? How much pull are you going to give it over what you really want? That's where you weigh it. You know what I mean? And does it matter? Does Roseanne's tweet matter?
Absolutely not.
No, it doesn't matter to anybody.
Crying and bitching and moaning. I mean,
It doesn't matter any more than Chris Rock's stand-up comedy routine, man.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
I mean,
Being overly emotional and constantly dwelling on that emotion every day, that is what's changing the dynamic of our society.
well, yeah, it's a failed
It's being
society.
fl- it's being-
the downfall of society.
Yeah, it's
one of
being
them, yeah.
embraced. It's being embraced by media. It's being embraced by ignorant parents. It's being embraced by teachers.
It's going to keep everybody stupid.
Yeah,
man.
and it's going to keep everybody weak and stupid, and that's what they
Right.
want.
Of course.
Bunch of weak, stupid, obedient workers.
It's called status quo, man.
And I don't know. You would think that the New World Order, the controllers, the elites, or whoever, you would think that they would want a stronger type of individual.
No, they only want you so strong, man. And
Well,
they know that some people are going to be. They don't want everybody to be that way. They want the people that are naturally strong enough to either not fall for that or break out of it. That's all the strength they need. That's
Yeah.
all they need.
Yeah.
The rest, keep them that way.
Right. Well, and then they got to put them on a social program, and they got to live on welfare.
Welfare is designed to keep people where they're at.
Yeah, it keeps you-
plays on it plays on human nature, and it works like a charm, man. It's like it works exactly the way it was intended to work.
Definitely.
It's just like the drug war. It works exactly like it was intended to work, and it's not what they tell us it is. But
Yeah, I don't know what to say about things anymore. I mean, we try to change everybody's mind every day.
yeah,
I talk to people every day. I yell at our cameraman every day. We work together. I talk about things, you know. He was the guy that was in Walmart with me that I was talking about on the last show.
Yeah,
And it just annoys me when I see a bunch of people that are they jump up and they want to talk about sports. I'm like, well, why can't you talk about like the Federal Reserve, or why can't you talk about
Well, maybe they do.
wars
They're
that
just
are
not
happening?
talking about it there. When was the last time you were in a line at a store and was like, "Hey, how about that Federal Reserve? They're boosting interest rates again." Like,
Well, I have a shirt I got from InfoWars. My old lady got for me years ago, and on the back it has the American flag upside down,
yeah,
and it says, "We are in distress. Ask me why."
sure.
So I would stand, I'd go to the store and I would get tapped on the shoulder. Hey, what does that shirt mean? I'm like, you don't know what the distress, when the flag is upside down
Yeah.
like that, it means that the country's in distress. No, I
That's
never
a
knew
good
that.
icebreaker.
Yeah, and so I tend to wear shirts like that with stuff on the back where you can question, you want to know something, like the "Don't Tread on Me." I'll have like a shirt with a big snake on the back of
Yeah.
it. Some people will be like, "I love your shirt."
And others will be like, "You're racist," even though they don't even know what it means. But somebody told them on Facebook that's what it means. So
Yeah, but that's one way to wake people up sometimes. Get the conversation going, and sports is like pushing everybody's face. So if you do start talking to somebody, it's an easy starter, I guess. I really don't know too much about it, and my problem is when somebody like, I'm at the barber or wherever I am, and they're like, "Hey, did you see what the Browns did last night or whatever?" I'm like, "No, dude, I don't watch
That's
that
all I
crap."
say. I'm like,
That's what I
no.
say. I say I am
don't.
absolutely not involved with that, and I don't care.
yeah.
So, all right, well, we're at the end of the show here. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on and listening to us.
Complaintboxes.com. Go there, make a profile.
Go there. Don't be square. The Bob and Bob Show.
Bye.